Hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you. I apologize for my tardiness. Unfortunately, I have to do a lot of running around on Wednesdays, and I try to get here at 5:05, but it didn't make it today. So my apologies once again. So anyway, I should say the purpose of the Demetri K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. I actually need to change my title a little bit because I said that Jasmine Crockett may be using the same old playbook as Kamala Harris. But I don't necessarily know if it's her using the playbook just yet. So I want to reword it when we're done here just for full disclosure and things like that. But we're going to talk about some things that I kind of see unfolding a little bit that to me is reminiscent of the Kamala Harris campaign, especially when she first, for the second time, right? Because she ran in 2019. But this last time when she announced that she'd be running, I see the same old talking point, same old playbook type of thing. So we'll discuss it. Of course, we had this conversation on the African Diaspora News channel earlier today. And there was something I really want to hone in on. So I decided I would do it on the show. But I should also say hello and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you so much for my wonderful moderators for the great job that you do in holding down the comment section. So we'll give everybody just a moment more to come on here before we get started. Sister Shirley, how you doing? Repentant Judah, what's going on with you? And Arneva, hope that you're having a great day. The weather here is kind of cold. I thought it was going to be warm today, but I guess not. This weather, again, is very weird. It's up and down. I think one day next week is going to be 85 degrees or something like that. So very bipolar. Of course, we know that the holidays are coming up next week and things like that. I'll be in California. I'm going to do my best to go live as much as I can, but I'm going to be spending time with my dad and, things like that. My sister's also going to be traveling to California. So we just kind of, spend some time, not because it's Christmas, but because everybody's off. You guys know I don't celebrate Christmas at all. People ask me, you going Christmas shopping? I'm like, hell no. I don't like torture, right? I'm not going to be out there throwing elbows with everybody trying to Christmas shop. The thought of it gives me the creeps. And I'm not going to be out there spending money just because somebody tells me I need to do it on a certain day or whatever. If I want to buy you something, I'm going to buy it for you, whether it's Christmas, whatever holiday it is, or whatever day of the week, I guess I should say, or year, I'll buy it, but not because the good old corporations told me it's time to go spend money that you should be saving and all that. So anyway, who else is on here? Brother Reggie, how you doing? Says Trump bag, give me money. Jasmine Crockett. That's funny. I think they're probably all doing that at this point. Renwood, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. King Noble, what's going on with you? And I think I saw most of y'all at 11 a.m. earlier today. So thank you. And I'll be back there tomorrow as well, 11 a.m. Central Time. I'm not quite sure what I'll talk about, but I'm sure it'll be interesting nevertheless. Marjorie, how you doing? Long time no see. Sister Shirley said I haven't celebrated Christmas for over 40 years. So yeah, that's a long time, right? You've really been checked out of the game. Goddess, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started for the sake of time. So of course, you guys know that Representative Jasmine Crockett from Dallas, she has thrown her hat into the ring to be the senator of Texas, right? And she's going up against in the primaries James Tallarico, who is also a representative from the Austin area. So, of course, people are saying this is a very interesting race because, for one, it's been since 1994 since a Democrat has won a statewide seat in Texas. As you guys know, that Texas is extremely red. So it's almost like good luck Chuck type thing if you're going to flip any of these major seats blue. But of course, there's a lot of conversation specifically about that seat for a whole host of reasons. One of them being that Jasmine Crockett's seat is in danger because we know that Trump told Governor Greg Abbott, yeah, you need to be taking 5 seats from the Democrats and give them to the Republicans so we can ensure that we as the Republicans, MAGA, right, stay in control with the House, the Senate, and of course, he's the president and all of that. So Greg Abbott said, yeah, sure, we'll do that. And so as of now, it seems like they can do it because district court, I guess in Texas said, no, y'all can't do that. Well, the Republicans say, yeah, well, we'll take it to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, the federal district court didn't have a right to tell y'all that y'all couldn't do it. So that particular issue, the redistricting map, is going to the appellate court. So I guess that's what a final decision will be made, whether the Republicans can take the seat or not. So again, her seat is in danger. I'm not sure if James is. I know in 2021 it was an issue, so I'm not quite sure if it is now. But nevertheless, they're going to, go head to head. Some polls say that Jasmine Crockett is doing better than James would. Of course, she's doing better, especially with the black vote, but that's not unusual, right? But then they said when it comes to the race between the Republican and the Democrat, so on the Democrat side, it's the incumbent John Cornyn. Then Ken Paxton, the Attorney General, he's throwing his hat in the ring, and Wesley Hunt, who is also a Republican black dude. Y'all have seen him look like a milk dud head, and they're all, pro-Trumpers, and they were on board to whatever degree with the seats being taken from the Democrats. Okay. So again, Jasmine is in the race. Now, of course, us as Black Americans, we got questions. We would need answers because we haven't really seen her, do a whole lot of romping and stomping per se for Black Americans. She'll mention us here and there, nothing major, right? But we've seen her really stand 10 toes down with the illegal immigrant community. Of course, we've talked about it here a lot with her and the other Black Democrats, along with the Latinos in Los Angeles and everywhere else, championing for that database that's now up and running that allows illegal immigrants, for lack of better words, to report ICE misconduct, tell on ICE. Essentially, they can upload photos and pictures and things like that. And of course, we heard Jasmine Crockett along with Maxine Waters and things like that say, these are our brown brothers and sisters. They try to do that little black and brown coalition type thing. But again, they never talk about the brown when it has anything to do with the black. So there's a lot of people in Black America that has questions. A lot of people, not just Black Americans, but a lot of people have questions. Now, there's also the argument, and we talked about this earlier, that, well, because Texas is so racist, with the governor and all the Republicans that are big time Trumpers, they're okay with disenfranchising, as they say, Black and brown people, because those districts are indeed Black and brown districts. And so they're saying that obviously it's racial gerrymandering, because they're going to redraw the map to favor Republicans, and that it does take away representation from the Black and brown constituents in those districts. And so a lot of people are saying, well, maybe we should show up for Jasmine Crockett in spite of, right? We know she's probably not going to really do a whole lot for us and this, that, and the other, but maybe we should show up to send the Republicans a message. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of the Republicans at all here in Texas. But I think they've always kind of operated that way. But they're doing it now emboldened because of Trump. And, Trump is sending out directives like, hey, this is what y'all need to do. Okay, now there's some like myself that's saying, yeah, I hear that, but Jazzy Jazz, because I can vote for her, right, needs to be talking about something good, in order for me to really go out there. It's not that, well, I'm again, fall on the sword to get her in there, not to stick it to the Republicans or whatever the case is. Now, how I get to this whole talking points thing, and again, I'm going to change the title a little bit differently later, is because now a lot of people are saying, well, you all don't want to get on board for Jasmine because she's a Black woman. Now, I'm going to show you a video that I showed early on the African Diaspora News channel. Then I'm going to show you another one of a woman. She's a sister. I think, I'm not sure where her people from, or this other one, for a matter of fact, not that it matters much. You guys are going to see them kind of make the argument because she's a Black woman is why people are tripping type thing. So I'll show y'all the first one that I showed earlier. So here we go.
They're treating Jasmine Crockett right now is helping me complete my grief cycle about the election of 2024. It's giving me some final closure because I feel like I, and probably a lot of other Black women, we've been stuck between the bargaining and depression phase, right? Feeling sad and helpless about the results, but also the bargaining where it's like, if y'all had gotten your head out of your ass and not played these games of moral superiority and demanding perfection only from the Black woman, even though the other option is dollar store Adolf, we wouldn't be in this mess. Look what you've done. But the way only a year later, y'all are repeating the same, it just gives further clarity as if it wasn't there before. Actually, there was nothing we could have done, to stop this. That tangerine was always going to be president because of y'all. You're always going to rather let that happen than give any credence to a qualified, overqualified Black woman. As if the way that you've treated Gavin Newsom and Zoran Mamdani this year, as opposed to how you treated Kamala Harris and how you treat Jasmine Crockett, wasn't already the cherry on top. There's no amount of common sense or data that could ever have been thrown at y'all to do things differently. Because I will say that some of y'all were right, actually, when you said both sides are just as bad. Both sides are the same. Both sides hate Black women.
Okay, so and then for all fairness, that video was about 4 minutes long, but she pretty much was, repeating the same thing about how, different people from all walks of life, in a sense, hate Black women, both sides of this, that, and the other, citing that Jasmine Crockett is qualified and things like that. Now the correlation comes in with Kamala because we also heard the same thing. I'm not going to argue whether she's Black or not, but I'm just going for the sake of argument, because she's a Black woman. That's why people weren't ready for her as a president. Now some of that probably was true. Let's just keep it a buck, right? I think we have to concede that some of it is because they're Black women, even if it's just a little bit. We have to be honest about that. Okay, again, she's qualified. We don't care because she's a Black woman type thing. Okay, now this particular woman, you guys have probably seen all over the internet. I'm sped up just a tiny bit. And she has opinionated about a whole host of things. She tends to be very left-leaning. And so this is her argument as to why people don't like Jasmine Crockett.
Out here trying to do to Jasmine Crockett right now. It's not about her. She's fine. She's informed. And she understands power a hell of a lot better than these fools trying to drag her online. What this is really about is how comfortable some of y'all are at being wrong, loudly, while pretending that you're principled. And honestly, that disgusts me. So let's get something straight here, because being a single issue voter is a privilege. Full stop. If you can afford to decide who deserves your support based on one issue, especially one that you learned about online from somebody yapping and you didn't even bother to fact check, that tells me everything I need to know about the life that you're living. Because Black people do not get single issue lives. We don't. We don't get to wake up and say, hey, you know what? Today I'm going to be worried about foreign policy. We're worried about whether our communities get healthcare, whether our votes count, whether our kids make it home, whether the air is poisoning us, whether police show restraint, whether the economy collapses on our backs, all at the same time. So when I hear I can't support Jasmine because of this one issue, what I actually hear is I've never had to survive layered harm, and I'm too arrogant to realize it. And here's where I really get irritated, right? A lot of y'all aren't even forming your own opinions. You're cosplaying conviction. You saw a phrase, you saw somebody say something about AIPAC, and somehow that turned into she doesn't stand for Palestine. And instead of asking what? Who said that? How much did she get? When? What vote? What constraint? What's her actual record? You got up here on this here internet and doubled down. You repeated it. All because it felt righteous, right? But something tells me you were out there screaming BLM, right? Yeah. That's not ethics. That's lazy. And notice this pattern, because it's ugly, all right? The anger didn't go to party leadership. It didn't go to lobbying laws, the structure of U.S. foreign policy, the system that limits what junior members can actually do. Nah, y'all went straight for the Black woman. Again, what, because you know she's a safe target? You know she'll be scrutinized harder. You know perfection will be demanded of her. And you also know that the pile-on will feel justified. And you do it anyway. That's not accountability, that's cowardice. And I know this because I talk about the hard stuff. I talk about rape, medical neglect. I talk about state violence. I talk about systemic harm. And every single time there's always somebody who's not listening to understand. They're listening to respond. They already decided they were right. They already memorized the talking point. They just want their turn to speak. We've been watching MAGA do that, right, for damn near a decade. Cold, unmoved, canned, combative. And some of y'all get up here and swear that you're different. You call yourselves progressives, but you sound the same. You sound like them. Different slogans, same emptiness. So let me be painfully clear. This isn't justice. This isn't solidarity. This is not strategy. This is bandwagoning, groupthink, purity politics, and moral grandstanding. All wrapped up in the comfort of people who have never had to experience multiple crises at once. And the reason this pisses me off? Because movements don't fail because of the right. They fail because people like this tear apart coalitions from the inside and turn around and call it virtue. Jasmine Crockett doesn't need saving. And I swear, if I was in Texas, I would absolutely vote for that woman. Yeah, yes, I would. But the bottom line is that some of y'all need to be honest about the fact that your politics are shallow. They're borrowed and powered by Joe Stein and the Never Kamala mantras instead of reality.
Okay. So you heard all of the things that she had to say there, but she basically said that, and she's talking to progressives. So she's saying that the call is coming from inside the house per se, because I guess she sees a lot of, conversation about Jasmine Crockett, whether she's qualified or not. And a lot of those are coming from the left, right? The progressives. She says it's one thing basically that MAGA's doing it, but why are we doing it type thing? Of course, I guess we're supposed to all, when I say we, I don't know, I'm not a Democrat, but all supposed to, I guess, jump on and automatically vote for Kamala. I mean, not Kamala, same thing, right? Jasmine Crockett without asking any questions. And like she said, we're just parroting talking points. We're not fact checking. And she's basically saying, especially for Black people, we have many issues. We don't have just one, like some of the people are saying that Jasmine, may or may not be in with AIPAC. From what I saw, she has not taken money from AIPAC, but she has gone on a trip with a group that is connected to AIPAC, right? She went on a trip to Israel in 2023. Y'all can look all that up. It is what it is. And so when I hear these talking points, I'm like, so people ain't supposed to question why they should vote for her? Because it was almost kind of the same thing like with Kamala. You just do it. It's a Black woman. We need to get him in office, or as Brother Reggie said, Trump bad. And Trump got a lot going on. I don't know if y'all saw what he did in the White House lately with the Walk of Fame, and he put the plaques under all the president's pictures and said a lot of horrible things about him. So yeah, Trump's got a lot going on, but it's like, to me, you would think that they would learn a lesson from Kamala, and that, okay, you're going to need a little bit more than me, black woman, vote for me, right? Again, I say all the time, I'm a black woman, if you can't already tell, and I know a lot of people find that problematic. Like I said earlier, if Jasmine Crockett is talking about something good, especially regarding Black Americans, I'd entertain it. But I'm not going to go into the booth simply because she's a black woman. She has a lot of good zingers and, talking points and things like that. I need more, because the other part of that is they're banking on people saying, oh gosh, the Republicans and all that, they're so terrible. Yes, we'll vote for Jasmine, whether she's, a black woman or not. But the other thing of that is, well, what about James Tallarico, right? He's a white guy. They're going to be primary together. Why not vote for him? If we're trying to get the Republicans out of power as much as we can here in Texas, why not get behind James? I mean, yeah, he's a white guy, and they pretty much kind of sound the same. They kind of have the same type of policies and talking points and things like that. Now, it sounds like he hasn't taken any money from AIPAC, and that sounds like that's a real selling point for a lot of people. Yeah, you taking any money for them, right? It doesn't sound like he has. Sounds like he's been in office a little bit longer, so he has a little bit more experience, because I saw an interview earlier with Jasmine Crockett, and she was being asked basically, well, why are you running against James Tallarico? Like, what's the difference here? And she says, oh, in the sense that she's more experienced. And a lot of people's like, well, how? Because he's been in office, I guess, 7 years. She's been in since, 2021, maybe 23, something like that. I don't know. 21, I think it was, 22, I don't know. So they're like, that doesn't necessarily jive if you're talking about experience. So she really couldn't say why, other than I'm just, trying to be in the race or whatever. So again, to that point, we're trying to get the Republicans out. Can't we vote for James if that's the big issue? But again, if you say you're going to vote for James, who is the white guy, then you'll hear, oh, well, you just don't like black women. And it's like, no, it's not that we don't like black women. Hell, I love black women, right? But I want this black woman to love Black Americans as well, as much as she loves the immigrants and everybody else that she votes for. We need to love as well. Don't ask this to be a one-sided, a one-way relationship, right? Because we've all been in a relationship to one degree where you love somebody more than they love you, and it sucks. Because you're doing all the loving, you're doing all the giving, and the other person is like, I could have a V8 as far as I'm concerned with you. So, it needs to, go both ways per se, but to me, it's giving the same playbook. It's like, no, you got to come to the table. Y'all supposed to learn lessons, and people are still talking about Kamala Harris's candidacy and her campaign and all the mistakes and this, that, and the other. In fact, James Carville, y'all know him. He's like the juggernaut in the Democrat Party. And he said, okay, Jasmine Crockett's, her campaign video, and I'll show it to y'all really quick because I showed it earlier. Give me 1 second. Because he had I thought what he said made a lot of sense. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Where is it? Nope, that's not it. I think I uploaded it. Hold on. Is that it? Maybe I didn't. I didn't upload it. But basically, it was a montage of all the things that Trump was saying about her, and basically alluding to us, all right, bring it on, give me your best shot. But James Carville basically was saying, I mean, it's cute, but you are kind of doing the Kamala thing, rah, 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 and zingers and talking points and this, that, and the other. He says, but you would think that she would have taken the time to say, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, and E for y'all. But he basically said she made it about herself. And he says, anytime you're running a campaign, you ain't supposed to make it about you. You're supposed to make it about the people that you want to vote for you. But she didn't do that. It was essentially, she had a nice little profile and Trump was talking about her, and it was all about her. And I agree with him, right? And so he's like, basically, people are in a sense tired of that. Give us the good, sis. Why should people show up to vote for you? So will she win? I don't know. She could. She has to get out of the primaries with James Tallarico. It remains to be seen, but if she does, then she's going to go up against one of the Republicans that I mentioned. But as I said earlier, too, she has some time to correct and say, hey, you know what? I hear Black Americans. Let me go out there and, and stomp and romp and do something from them as well. But something tells me she's not going to do that because the polling numbers now is really early. Says that about 89% of Black voters in Texas that were polled would vote for her. So that's still a lion's share of the votes. So maybe she's looking at that and saying, hey, I don't really need to do nothing for him because she just needs Texas to vote for her. It's not like it's, nationwide. So maybe she's thinking, I don't really need to do nothing because I ain't even said nothing, but just gave them my, she did a little speech and stuff too, but I haven't really even promised Black people nothing. And they're still going to show up for me overall. Maybe I don't need to do anything. So anyway, I want to see what you guys have to say about it. But yeah, it's giving the same old playbook. Y'all don't like her because she's a Black woman. It's like, to me, if you keep saying something over and over and over and over and over again, eventually it loses its steam. Eventually it loses its power. Eventually it's like, okay, what else you got? Because the whole y'all hate Black women thing, I don't think that's I don't think it's gonna wash. It didn't for Kamala or anybody else who's tried to use it. It's like you could get rid of that whole we hate Black women argument if you actually are doing something for the people who are saying that. So they can say, well, and I should say there's no policies up on her website, but there's none up on James's as well. So it might just be too early because they kind of just sealed the deal last week with the paperwork and stuff. So maybe it's too early for policies, but I'm thinking that if I said I was running, I'd at least have some policy so people can, start to look at what it is I want to do for them. So anyway, I want to see what y'all have to say about this. And thank you for bearing with me. It is our Friday, by the way. Can't you tell? Let's see. KP from KC. How you doing? Long time no see. Says to use a losing hand is plumb dumb. Well, that's kind of what the Democrats do. They'll use that playbook. She's Black, y'all Black. Black people vote for the Democrats more. We don't really have to promise you anything. We just got to show up and be Black and, give a zinger or something. Bleach, blonde, bad built, butch body. And ow. So yeah. Jerron, how you doing? Says Crockett isn't doing anything for the Black community unless you're Black illegal in other country. Sounds like, like I said, it's her job to try to change our minds. She needs the votes of Black Texans, so she should change our mind, not just, because I'm Black and I'm a woman. Hey, Brother Samuel, how you doing? It says, good stuff. Well, thank you. Arson, how you doing? It says, hey, Dimitri and everyone, how are you all? We're doing well. It says, I hope you guys like, quote unquote, the video anyway. It says, what did Jasmine do this time? I heard that name before, never in a positive context. Like I said too, and I always feel like I need to say this. I don't know any of them people personally, so I don't have any personally against them. It's really, to me, all about politics, never personal. But she's thrown her hat into the ring to be the senator of Texas, representing the Democrat Party. And there's a lot of criticism for people who are asking questions and things, basically deducing it down to she's a Black woman. And that's the problem y'all have with it. And it's like, honestly, I wish there was a Black woman out there that was really doing things for Black folks as well. It's not, as I said, do something for us only, do something for us too, that we could say, okay, well, that was for us specifically, like there's things specifically for everybody else. Brother Don, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, I'll bite. Julia, how you doing? It says, I'm taking my kids to Turning Point. And again, this is all satire, okay? This is like a reverse psychology comment. I'm taking my kids to Turning Point USA AmFest this year. We are excited to see comedian Russell Brand. He's been charged with 3 counts of, and 2 counts of assault. His trial is scheduled for June. Well, if you a sucker and a fool want to take your children to see something like that, what do you want me to say? It sounds like a firm decision to me. Hey, Jesse, how you doing? I be cracking myself up. Jesse, how you doing? Hope you doing well. Sister Shirley says, if you put Jasmine and Kamala in a bag, I don't know which one will fall out first. They both fight for illegal immigrants and transgender. Yep, y'all heard Jasmine at that press conference as well. You know, she was saying that she has concerns for trans, I guess, illegal immigrants that are detained because she knows that they're in the middle of transitioning and they need their meds and things like that. And it's like, huh? What? And Kamala said the same thing too. So yeah. I don't know. Marjorie, how you doing? Says Trump is going live today. I know. I heard some. It's gonna be a riot. I'm quite sure. They said that he's supposed to be allegedly announcing that the United States is going to war with Venezuela. I don't know. That's the word on the curve. Well, I guess we'll have to see. But to say Trump is going live today, so I want to see how he's holding up. The other news medias are saying he looks sick and that his hands is in an injection site for Alzheimer's disease. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. It's definitely got something going on. Ooh, wait a minute. Did y'all see the way Vanity Fair did them? When I say them, I mean his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, Caroline Levitt, his press secretary, and J.D. Vance, and all of them. Boy, I tell you, the Vanity Fair did them do low. If you haven't seen it, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later. So how you doing? Says because Jasmine Crockett is an immigrant. I don't know. We haven't been able to back that up. Is she an immigrant? I know she was born in Missouri, but are her people immigrants? We haven't been able to tell. I looked on her website and it says I think her mom worked at the federal government or for the federal government for 30 years, and her dad is a pastor or a teacher or something like that. So I don't know. Brother Reggie says her website is a damn near copy paste of Kamala's old one. The first thing you see is 6 ways to donate. The things you don't see are policies. Yes, and I should say in all fairness that James is what's the name? Tellerico reads that way as well. First thing that pops up is a donation. So they're kind of the same, but yes, Kamala's website was like that for a long time. Again, she only had 107 days to get to the White House, and it took her a long time to say what her policies were. Of course, we know it took Kamala a long time to even do like real interviews. And then when she did, it was like, eesh. Kevin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Jerron says the Republicans claim they played her to get, yes, I saw that, played her to get her to run for office. They believe she is a weak candidate to beat if she is on the ticket. Yes, so I've seen a whole host of Republicans, Mike Johnson, John Cornyn from here, whole lot of Republicans saying, great, that this will, ought to be easy. She basically handed us the Senate once again, is what they're saying, if she is on the ticket. So now that also might energize the Democrats to say, okay, bump her, because they really do think that James, the other one that she'd be primary with, would have a better chance of beating John Cornyn, because one, he's a white man. They're both white men. James is a lot younger from what I understand. So they think that he would have a better chance, but a lot of people on the left and the right do not think that Jasmine stands a chance. Stranger things have happened, right? So it just remains to be seen. Gloria, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Geechee Dan Buford, what's up? He says she called the Hispanics in Texas slaves, or they have a slave mentality. And then your comment cut off. But yes, she did say that, and she's kind of walking it back or trying to explain what she meant when she said that, because people are taking her to task. Like you said, she says basically the Latino community have a slave mentality because they voted for Trump more than they should have, type thing. And now he is harming their community the most. So that's what she was kind of trying to explain that. But yeah, Elle, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Reggie says affordability. I'm for the people. Trump bad are not policies. Yeah, well, that's what Kamala was doing as well. Trump bad, and the Democrats as well. Even up until recently, they're still kind of doing it a little bit, but they're being told over and over again. And I saw that Obama admonished the Democrat Party as well. It's like, okay, now we really got to be talking about something. We can't just keep saying Trump bad, paraphrasing. Really got to give the people something to sink their teeth into, because people are desensitized by the Trump bad talking points. So yeah, Marjorie says we can't wait. We can wait and see what happens with Jasmine before jumping out there, like the Brandon Smith election, flipping and flopping. So you're talking about Brandon Johnson. Is that who you're talking about? But yeah, I mean, it's early, so maybe she'll come up with something during her policies. Maybe she's, like I said, she's listening to the criticism, and maybe she'll do, or at least talk about some policies and then people can have something to go from. But because I'm a black woman, I'm a Democrat, and you need to get me in there because the Republicans are horrible. You need to fill in the blank, sis. You know, child of God, how you doing? Says raise up a politician in the community who you know is going to specifically go for Black Americans' interests. Yeah, I agree with you. We got to get there, right? But again, we have a two-party system here in the United States. It's the Republicans or the Democrats, and so most people are like, well, then I guess I better pick a side instead of picking somebody that is not on either side. And we know that both parties organize against the third party per se to get them out of the race because they call them vote splitters, especially if they're leaning to the right or to the left. Then with either side, I call them a vote splitter. Oh, you're just taking votes, you're just wasting time and you're going to harm, said party because you're in a race. So basically you need to pick a side type thing. But I agree with you. Africa is king. How you doing? He says Black women vote with emotions and love entertainment. That's why they are voting. Jasmine Crockett, stop embarrassing yourselves. I would say that's probably true for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of Black women out there who are more cerebral when they're voting. But yeah, I think you're right. Because Black women, especially in America, have been told that they are the backbone of the Democrat Party. When I say we, I mean collectively make things shake for the Democrats. And we can't do it without you, gal. And so yeah, when they see Jasmine up there, they feel a sense of pride. But it's like, well, I mean, feel a sense of pride, but then get to business, and asking her, okay, we see you out there, you're champion for illegal immigration and all that, but what about us, right? Ask her those questions. Don't just give her a free pass, Let's skip down a little bit. Andre, how you doing? He says, I thought your policies and track record were things that got you elected. Being Black candidate won't make me vote for you. I mean, that's the way it should be, but that ain't the way it's been. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I voted for Obama, and a lot of people did simply because he was Black, right? He's Black. We were told we'd never get a Black president. In a sense, it seems like we didn't even steal, right? Because he really didn't do anything specifically for Black Americans at all. And in fact, he's talked about it and was like, well, I couldn't because in a sense, white folks wouldn't have liked it. So yeah, we got to stop doing that. Edward, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And I do realize I'm so behind, so forgive me. What? Magnetic, how you doing? Says, didn't realize YouTube blocked my comment. What did you say? Hey, Pop, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I don't need no man. Stop telling me I do. How you doing? It says hit the like button. Thank you. And I appreciate you, brother Reggie, for that. A child of God says AIPAC isn't the only group. They started spreading the money out through several dozen Zionist groups. That's what I heard. I don't get too far into the weeds with that for obvious reasons, right? But yeah, I did see, and I looked it up myself, that yes, she does get money from a subsidiary, I guess, or a partner of that particular group. So yeah, that is true. I've seen the official government filings, because she has to declare the money. Was almost like $25,000 that they spent to, I guess, send her and her mother to Israel. So I did see that. It's the group is AIEF. I think that's the name of the group, something like that. Because Pop says if she gives us I don't think she's going to be giving a pole dance. I mean, I've seen her dance, but I don't think it's going to be a pole dance. Magnetic says, Mods, can someone unblock my comments? I see you. I'm sorry it took me a long time to get to you, but I do see you. You're not blocked, so that's probably my end because I'm reading so slow, and I apologize. So I'm going to catch up. The Quan, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. JJ, what's going on? It says Jasmine is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for Hispanics while ignoring FBA. Yeah, she just needs to be asked about that because I see people, they're going to meet her and hang out with her. It's like, are y'all having any real conversations with her? Or are y'all just happy, and fangirling or fanboying? Oh, it's Jasmine. Like, ask her some real stuff. Like, take it. That's her job. Her job is to answer questions. What are you going to do for the people you're asking them to vote for you? Don't just go and say, oh, well, Jasmine's cool people. I'm sure she's lovely people. Like I said, I don't know a person. She's probably a great person. Other than that, probably a lot of fun and this, that, and the other. But we ain't talking about the fun stuff right now. We're talking about business. You want people to vote for you. Why? And that should be true for everybody, not just Jasmine, right? But going in the vein of because she's a Black woman, that's all you need, right? Black woman, full stop. That's all you need. Like, no, it's a Black woman, comma. Right? What comes after that? Beverly White, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Kevin says none of these black representatives do anything for their black constituency. They are out there caping for Hispanics and every other race but the black race. That is true. Marcus, how you doing? Says she voted for them on record every time. I don't think these people realize that the information is right in front of us. Yes, that is true. Okay. You say them, we know who them are. Yes, that is true. That is true. Reppin' Magazine OG, how you doing? Says her rapper was hot. What rapper? Is she a rapper? Five Rings, how you doing? Says facts. We all know you hate Trump. Not a big fan of him, but what are her policies? Yeah. And she's not special. A lot of people hate Trump, right? And Trump has done a lot of things to be hated, but that can't be your mantra. Trump has done some monstrous things, but tell us what you are going to do, right? Because again, Trump can't run again, and some say he may not make it the full term. I don't know, but you're here, you're young, you're vibrant. What are you going to do? Brother Reggie says Carville is a Democrat, but old school, and he ain't with all that trend. Yeah, all that. He ain't with that foolishness. And the new age Dems look at him like a dinosaur. Yeah, they don't like him at all. They are mad because he kind of was taking Kamala to task. And he's the one that said, I knew when she said that when they asked her, what would you do differently than Biden? She said, I can't think of anything. He said, I knew she was done. He said, I, in a sense, knew that was the nail in the coffin for her. Because what you mean you ain't going to do nothing different? Why he's not going back to the White House, So yeah, Brother Joe, now how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Freddie, what's going on with you? Rabbit with a gun, how you doing? Says I keep saying that they are too arrogant and elitist to learn lessons. Yeah, but again, like I said, she's probably seeing the polls like, well, black folks gonna show up for me anyway, so that's easy, right? Brother Reggie says I'm not saying support Wesley Hunt, but his side has a whole list of policies. Jasmine has no policies, not because it's early, but because she has none. Okay, well, that's fair. That Wesley has policies. I went on his site a little bit, kind of walked around earlier, So yeah, Herschel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Donnell says the hustle don't change and the game remain the same, like Hillary told Charlemagne the God when asked about the hot sauce. But is it working? The pimping don't stop, substance zero, symbolism much wins. Yep, that's what she said. And when he says, well, she said, I got hot sauce in my bag. And Charlemagne says, well, aren't you, people are going to say you're pandering. And she says, well, it's working. So she knew what to say. Julia says, we had a Republican president and a Republican majority in every branch of government for 11 months. This is probably as good as things will ever get for conservatives, but it's not that great. I mean, I don't particularly think that the conservatives will be in power like they are now during the midterms. I think a lot of things will flip because, again, that's that pendulum. People are like, okay, we want to get rid of the Democrats, Biden and didn't want Kamala because of things that they did. Now we're going to swing all the way to the right. And now that everything's to the right, like completely, people are like, yeah, we don't like that either because everybody is suffering to some degree. So, yeah, it'll probably swing back to the Democrats because people are like, well, we're in pain with the Democrats, but the stuff that the Republicans are doing, again, it's all right when it's a certain group of people who are suffering. But when white folks, good white folks, are suffering, they're like, yeah, we don't want no more of that. We'd rather, deal with the Democrats. So I think, this is probably as good as it's going to get for the Republicans. Marcus says, even in Chicago, we need tangibles in every city. Yep. L says they came for more immigrants than Americans, the Democrats. Okay. Jesse says, I literally said the same thing about Jasmine Jasmine Crockett. What? Y'all got all kind of names. She says she's running a play out of Kamala's bathtub, Green Harris Playbook. I looked at her website and nothing specific for FBA is mentioned. No mention of black people. Yeah, not a lot of mentions for anything because she doesn't have any policies yet. And again, James doesn't either yet. So, but Brother Reggie said the other candidates do. So I don't know if early is an issue. I just know, like I said, if I was going to declare a candidacy, I would already have something up so people could start dissecting. King Charles, how you doing? So Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris will never be president. I'd rather have Trump again. Well, damn. Jay Bubba, how you doing? Says, what you think Trump is going to talk about tonight? The word on the curb is that he's supposed to. I don't know. The rumor mill in Washington is saying announced that we'll be going to war with Venezuela. How true it is, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it definitely will be interesting. What time is it coming on, by the way? So that way I can make sure I catch it. Marjorie says Trump isn't going to make it to another term, so look out for vice president moving up to the presidency position. Mind blowing for sure. Let's pay attention to the governors. He says V presidency. Yeah, that's a speculation as well. Gearhead, how you doing? Says the 92% will always vote for the dumbest person possible, so Crockett will dominate the Democratic primary. I totally agree. I think a lot of what we've seen so far, a lot of black voters are going to show up more for her. But there's other people in Texas as well. It's not just black voters, but she sure needs black voters if she's going to even think about being successful, at least to get out of the primaries, right? Beverly says in Chicago, Democrat governor and mayor are doubling property taxes in black neighborhoods to gentrify black Americans out. So I've heard. Brother Jonas says Obama, Jasmine, etc. Until we do for self as a symbol over substance. Black people, our economic power is always have been a minus in politics. So what's a value of a vote in whoring government soul? So you're right. The end game is for us. The end and the beginning is to do for self. Because no matter who is in the White House, right, nobody's going to do anything for us. The White House, Congress, Senate, whatever it is, they're not going to do anything for us, but we should be doing for self. But when we do for self, then those conversations will be a little bit easier. And those people will be like, oh, okay, we got to do for Black Americans because they are a well-oiled machine and they vote for their betterment. They spend money for their betterment and they will abstain if they need to, if they don't get what they want from the politicians that they help elect. So, yeah, Sister Sunlight, how you doing? Nice to see you again. Mad Dog, what's going on with you? Your average logical thinker, how you doing? No, Magnetter's not blocked. I didn't block him. I saw him, so hopefully he's still on here. I didn't block him. Please don't block Magnetter. And I know y'all ain't blocking people just because. I mean, people really doing the most, then yeah. But if they not, they asking questions or whatever, don't block them. Brother Reggie says, can't remember who said it, but listen, ain't nobody trying to see Jasmine pole dancer. I don't think that's on her agenda. Raven, how you doing? Says the Black people of Texas need to ask Jasmine point blank what she will do for Black people. She gives the same answer as Kamala. Don't vote for her, period. All of the Black people in Congress are shameful to keep it 100. That is 100% true. She needs to be asked. What? Okay, give us what you got. You know, Facts Not Feelings. How you doing? Says peace and love, family. Is better for her not to win. Why? It's worse for Blacks to have the perception of getting something that actually not getting anything from a Black face in a high place. Yep, it's purely perception. They'll get in because they're Black, but then when they get in, they'll go help everybody else that ain't Black. So yeah. Laverne, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says just listening and watching. Jasmine hasn't gained my trust. I love you as well. Yeah, I mean, it's early. She might still can, right? I think that should be on her agenda. Earn the trust of Black voters in Texas so that they'll really show up in good faith and feel like they're going to get something out of it. But something tells me again, she may not, you know, because she's like the rest of them, your Obamas and your Kamalas and all of them. I don't want to piss off everybody else. Right? Because that's what they say. Well, I don't want to make everybody else mad. George, how you doing? He says, Jasmine is a disgrace and is embarrassment. She's using Black woman, quote unquote, victimhood to raccoon for Black folks and white liberals. Yeah, she's going to need more than to be just a Black woman, right? As I said, if their end game is to get the Republican out of the seat, then why not James? Yeah, there's a white man, but why not James? If that's the goal is to, you know, get that seat and turn it blue, then what about James? Don't y'all care about democracy no matter who it is? Then why not get James in there? Uncle G, how you doing? Says Freddie Haynes, the third is running for Congress for her old seat. Yes, that's what I heard. And it sounds like he's very pro reparations. So that's in Dallas. I couldn't vote for him. It's a House of Representatives seat. But yeah, he's for reparations. It remains to be seen. Darlene, how you doing? Says we voted for Obama and still paying that high price today. Yeah. And I think it's because of Obama, a lot of Black voters really, we opened our eyes and said, that didn't really work out for us, right? Because I guess the assumption was, he never told us he was. The assumption was, oh, you know, he's Black. Y'all Black. He going to do something for Black people. First term. Second term, we're like, okay, well, maybe this is it, right? Because he's can't run again and he's... No. So, yeah. Okay, let me skip down a tiny bit. Who else haven't I seen it? Your average logical thinker says I can guarantee that they talking... You stupid. Talking about wigs and lashes, not policies. What? Edward says Kamala was selected, not elected by a primary. That is true. She was not primaried at all. It was like, well, Joe can't do it. They don't want him. So there you go. But as I said, I read her book and I totally believe that she was sabotaged. It's almost like, well, we're going to put on optics for the Democrat, party, the DNC and all of that. But we really don't want Kamala in there either. We'll just play along because per what she was saying, there's a lot of things that they did or did not do to help her. She kept having to walk things back and explain things that other people, were doing, like Joe Biden. He kind of wouldn't just go away type thing. But yeah, from my assessment, my comprehension, it sounds like she might have been sabotaged. And, Trump even spoke to that right after he won. He was like, I think it was a mistake for Kamala to allow, and this is what he said, basically, the Democrats to do that to her. She should have said no. But in a sense, she allowed the Democrats to use her when she was just kind of fighting an uphill battle, But yeah, Arneva says she was in a rap video. It was pretty good. Oh, Jasmine. Oh, I saw one. She was dancing with some dude who was trying to be the governor. That's what y'all was saying. The governor somewhere. He's running for the governor. I can't remember where, some black guy, and they were dancing together and singing or rapping or yeah, I actually saw that today. Somebody says, oh, she does get money from. Yes, she does. Just a week ago, people were saying that was a lie. No, it's not. I looked. See, most people only look on the surface, but it's like, well, let's go a little bit lower. A little bit lower. Like the submarine that didn't make it. That was probably a bad example, but you got to go that deep, right? Well, maybe not that deep, but deep enough. African Native, how you doing? Earth Angel, what's going on with you? Shan, how you doing? Says there is no third party that you can vote for. It's called independence. You can vote that one too. That's if you want to, yes, but that party rarely goes anywhere. I think in history there's been one independent president, don't quote me, but yeah, they usually organize against that third party because they're like, nah, you're gonna be splitting the votes. So yeah, Herschel says, when you look at the racial makeup of Maxine, Reclaim My Time, Waters District, there's a good reason not to vote for Jasmine. I'm a black woman, Crockett. Yeah, because now Maxine's district is predominantly Hispanic, from what I understand. It wasn't that way when she first got in there, but it is now, which it would explain why she's chasing behind ICE and in the back alleys, making sure ICE is, weird. Tahada. He says, doesn't the country take in people from the place we go to war with? That means we are getting the Venezuelans back. I don't know. I mean, some argue that they got resources over there. Of course, they want Maduro gone. And some people argue it's the destabilization of the government and the takeover because they want another president to go in. It's a lot. But a lot of people are like, war with Venezuela? Trump, I thought you were the president of no wars. Y'all just can't stop having Battleship Galactica out there, or what was that name of the game we used to play back in the day? The Battleship, we had to sink people's battleships. Like, they're really playing a video game out there for real. Scoop, how you doing? Says, have you heard of the podcaster Marvelous? I think if that's the same person, I saw him. A lot of people posting stuff like 2 weeks ago. If that's the same guy, I think. Jay Bubba says, come on in an hour. Okay, so yeah, I'll be off of here then. So is that 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 Central. Marshall, how you doing? It says, hello, I love your show. I love watching you, and I'm so happy to see you on live. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. You said Anita, but I think you meant me. Brother Jonelle says, we need to learn to move like the people who don't need a vote, like the Chinese, etc. Their unity gives them all their needs, even their own towns and spaces. White fear, black unity in any, I think you meant number or amount. Is that what that is? Yeah, we do. When we start doing that, it'll be easier. It's always been said, even Dr. Claude Anderson said, yeah, the minute we start moving more in unity, the things we want will come easy. But obviously, I'm preaching to the choir. You know that there's this effort, as you said, to stop black unity in every way, shape, and form on every front. There cannot be black unity because when there's black unity, they have to meet our demands. But right now, they're light years from that. Renz, how you doing? Did I see you earlier as well? Gary, how you doing? It says Grand Rising, my sister. Just to give you a little heads up, they're having it says to July 2026 to return everything back to the indigenous people. And what is that about, if you don't mind me asking? I'm not familiar. Brother Damon, how you doing? Albie Chill, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. You say you're late. No, I'm sure it took me forever to get to the comments. Brother Reddy says, also salute to you, Demetra, for reading Kamala's book. Hope you got it on the Lolo for free, basically. Somebody bought it for me because they were asking me about the book. I said, I haven't read it because they was hearing this, that, and the other people, talking about little parts that they heard. I said, well, you buy me the book, I read it. And they bought me the book and I read it. I said, I'll give you a report. I guess I kind of still need to do that because I haven't done it, but I will. But yeah, I think she's an interesting person. Like I said, I don't have anything against her personally. I think, as I said, she kind of suffered from that Obama thing. I can't be I'm just saying black because she called herself black in the book. I rarely even heard her mention herself being, or read her saying that she was Asian. She might have once or twice, or Indian, like when she talked about her mom and stuff, but mostly she referred to herself as a black woman. So I say all that to say, I think if the personality she had in the book would have came out a little bit more, she might have had a better chance. I don't think she would have won. I'm not saying that I would have voted for her. There's some things she needed to do. But she seems like a more likable person per reading her book. She curses a lot. I will say that. She likes F-bombs. But very interesting to say the least. Sunlight says, thank you, Demetra. You would think people know to research before they speak on a platform. Yeah, a lot of times people just kind of take talking points from different people they've heard it from. But it's like, well, just go look and see. I did, because I actually saw somebody says, well, that's not true. She has taken money from them in a sense. And I went, down the rabbit hole per se. And I was like, oh, yeah, Jasmine has. Of course, we know that she did go over there and all of that. So when I saw it, I was like, and it's so disingenuous for her. Because I guess she said that she hasn't taken money from AIPAC as well, but it's like it's disingenuous because you know that you've taken money from a derivative of their organization. So do you think people wouldn't find that out, or they wouldn't connect the dots type thing? So in a sense, you're lying because you know that they funded you and your mama's trip to Israel. They did. Edward says Maxine Waters in the Black District and she allowed her people to get pushed out. Yep. With the building of SoFi Stadium and all that. It's a mess, but they don't talk about that. And you think what the Olympics is going there soon? You just wait till that gets there. Ain't gonna be no black people, especially in Los Angeles, right? Because everything gonna go up. Facts Not Feeling says Venezuela gave low-cost oil to other Caribbean nations. That's a no-no for the U.S. Yeah, I get that, but it's like U.S. is always meddling in people's business. Brother Simon says, I'm sure the oil is there is oil in Venezuela. Trump attitude is just take it. Yep, that's exactly what it is. They gonna, take it by any means necessary type thing. So we'll see if that's what they're going to be talking about. I just know it's going to be a lot of rambling. Trump rambles. He'll start off talking about something, then he'll be over here talking about this and somebody's fat and this, that. It's like, man, come on now. Get to it, because I know you sleepy, because I'm sleepy. Arneva says he's the president of no wars unless there are resources to steal. That part. Brother Donald says America only war on behalf of economic gain. All wars are bankers' wars and still banker wars. Watch the documentary via YouTube. All wars are bankers' wars. I shall, if I can remember. But yeah, you make a good point. There's always money connected to it. Always money for people to make. So yeah. Sister Sunlight says, did she write the book before the election? No, it was after, because it's called 107 Days. So she's talking about the 107 days, her run up to the White House, or trying to get to the White House. So she documents pretty much every day. It skips, a couple of days, because obviously she ain't gonna be talking about it every damn day. But it, for the most part, talks about the most important days, all the way down to day one where she lost, and she said she was just completely devastated, because she says that everybody else kind of heard that she wasn't going to win and she wasn't doing well. She said her husband actually, because he's in like Flynn, because he them folks too, right? So he actually had heard from some reputable people that, yeah, it's not looking good for her. So I guess he didn't tell her until they knew. And he was like, yeah, I, had heard that you weren't going to win. So she says her whole team, they were all just devastated because I guess she didn't really think that she would lose. And then she didn't think she would lose that bad, because she's basically saying, of course, when people are reading polls and you want to keep you on the upbeat and, just keep positives, just stay, positive type thing. But she said basically to get trounced the way she did was like, so she said it kind of took her a long time to kind of, in a sense, get her legs back because of the devastating defeat. And then she says too, uh, in her words, she knew what having Trump in office would do. So it was a lot. I just think kind of from what she was saying, and we all kind of knew that, but just reading it, there was no way she was going to win. She had too many roadblocks and people in the way type of thing. A lot of the team she used was his team because they were already in place. They had to rewrite things, redo signs. It was just a lot of stuff. They were prepping her for debate, and it was just a lot of things that she just couldn't overcome. So, that's what she said in the book, for lack of better words. It was an interesting read. I like biographies per se. Herschel said, as far as Kamala book goes, I'll wait for the movie and go straight to DVD. It could be a movie. It was a lot of drama in the book. Brother Eddie says, F-bombs, box wine, do make you cuss. You crazy. Did she talk about drinking? I mean, she might have, but not that she was a drunk. Maybe I don't know if she is, but maybe she left that part out. So yeah, African Native says savings and checking accounts are connected to the same person. Okay. Oh, so you talk about with where Jasmine went? Yeah. Brother Damon says America will pay a heavy cost effing with Venezuela. The U.S. economy will crash. It remains to be seen. We got to pay attention to see if that's what he's going to talk about. But a lot of people who said they are connected to the source says that's what he's supposed to be talking about. We'll see. Herschel says, I'm not going to anything specifically for Kamala, you crazy. That was interesting. I think it would be a good drama, right? With a little comedy. Y'all wild. And King Shaw, how you doing? Says, who would you rather have in office, Trump or Harris right now? I wouldn't have voted for Kamala. I don't like what Trump is doing. Only thing I like is the mass deportation, although I don't like how Trump is doing it. I don't like neither one of them, to be honest with you, but I wouldn't vote for Kamala, even if we had the chance to do it now, unless Kamala was, talking about something for Black Americans, because she had already told us, I ain't going to do nothing specifically for them people, right? So if she changes her tune and it looks like it's credible, then yeah, I'd entertain it, right? But it is what it is. It's divine that Trump is in office because everybody is having an awakening. That ain't nobody special unless you got the kind of money like Jeff Bezos, Amazon. A lot of their workers are walking off the job as of today for a whole host of reasons because they want better pay and conditions and things like that. So unless you're them, Trump don't care about nobody, and everybody is feeling the pain. The farmers, you name it. All the people that's lost their jobs on a federal level, the healthcare situation is a mess. So everybody is feeling the pain, and it had to be that way because with Kamala in office, everybody wasn't going to feel the pain. It was going to be the same old people, right, feeling the pain. White folks that don't like Kamala or Republicans, they'd complain, but they wouldn't be going through what they're going through now under Trump. So it's a rude awakening. Hopefully the next person that goes to office, people will do it with common sense and not emotions and party lines. Because, yeah, Trump is showing his orange behind to everybody. So, yeah. Albie Chill says our misery is a business model. Yep. And so y'all, I got to skip down just a tiny bit. Hey, Timothy, how you doing? Thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. He says I can see a crochet crochet on The View acting like a fool. I think she's been on there before, but I'm sure she'll go back and hopefully she don't say I'm not gonna change nothing, because that's what Kamala did, right? That'd be a big mistake. Tradina, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. the Wolfgang Felix, how you doing? Says politicians shouldn't be allowed to represent anybody. Well, ain't that their job? They should represent people. Shan says, Mr. Mitra Lay, if you watch Stars and a show called Spartacus, the Book of Asher, it will tell you the same thing on that show, what happened on the show, what's happening today in politics. Okay, I don't think I've ever heard of that show before. Black American Expat Podcast, how you doing? You say, so when did we start going to war without going through Congress? And that's the criticism. Oh, and did y'all see too? What's his name? Brian Bongino. He was the assistant FBI director. He's quitting. Nobody really knows why. I guess he just said that he's not going to continue on. I guess after the 5th of January, he's leaving. It's like, what's going on? So a lot of people are starting to kind of leave the Trump administration. Y'all know that general left because I guess it said that he just wasn't going to be, bombing innocent people without going through processes and things like that. That's what they said on the back end. So yeah, Congress, I guess they don't have to do that. You got Pete Hegseth up there, just pushing the button, not laughing at what they're doing, but it's wild. It's wild. Ricardo, he says wine is fine, but liquor is quicker. Just I better quit calling that lady a drunk. No, Pop, I'm not reading that either. I'm not reading it. Talia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Gary, what's going on with you? He says, look for a lot of people to quit going forward because Trump is ending the deep state corporation. They have to return the land back to the indigenous people. Okay, well, I'll pay attention to all of that. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go. I will see y'all on Sunday. If maybe sooner something else pops off, but Sunday for sure. I'm going to watch this State of the Union or whatever it is with Trump. Maybe I need to take some no-dos myself. And if he says anything that needs to be talked about, I'll surely come on here and we'll talk about it. Hey, Mike, nice. I'm about to get out of here, but I love and appreciate you anyway for showing up. Don Bongino. I knew it was some Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino says, used to be a big Trumper. I wonder why he left. We'll find out, right? We will find out. Oh, and again, about that Vanity Fair article where Susie Wiles, Trump's chief of staff, she interviewed and she says that Trump, I guess he has a psychology or behavior or something like that of an alcoholic, and a whole host of things. Basically said Trump gonna do what he want to do. There's nothing you can say. This, that, the other. She basically spilled the beans behind the scenes, and then of course she was mad. She's like, they took it out of context, and they're like, well, how else do you say that he has the mind or the behavior, whatever it is, of an alcoholic? How do you take that out of context? Like, why would you say that? And of course, Vanity Fair took these very horrible pictures of all of them, right? These close-ups, and Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, I think she's 27, 28. Man, they did her dirty. I don't know if y'all seen those pictures, but they took it real close up and you can see all the wrinkles and the fine lines, and on her lips you could see where maybe like little holes, because they be getting the lip fillers. I mean, the pictures are terrible. And I said, oh, okay, I see what Vanity Fair was doing. Vanity Fair was trolling. And so nevertheless, people on the right are pissed. They're like, that's so mean. How dare you? And all this other stuff. But it's like, I think the problem y'all have is with Susie Wiles, because she said that stuff. And when you're doing an interview, more than likely they're recording. So the issue really is with that. So anyway, maybe y'all see it that I mentioned it. I'm going to get out of here. Gary says, Diane Bond. Yeah, he did have a radio show. He said he had cancer and had to take a leave of absence. So keep that in mind. So you think maybe it came back? It could be the case. So we'll find out, I guess. Maybe we won't. Stephen, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So anyway, let me get out of here. Y'all watch the thing. I'm sure to be very entertaining, Trump and all of that. In the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow on the African Diaspora News Channel at 11 a.m. So y'all want to join me there? I'd love to have a conversation with you. Peace.